A key battleground. Voters in the northern city of Hsinchu head to the polls in a few weeks to choose the city's mayor and may turn to an outsider candidate. Taiwan's Air Force gears up for one of the largest airborne drills in the country. A shattered legacy, now torn and tattered. A lawmaker uncovers another damaged artifact at Taiwan's National Palace Museum. Taiwan welcomes Lidong, the beginning of lunar winter. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. Taiwan is gearing up for local elections later this month. In the northwestern city of Hsinchu, the race for a new mayor is intensifying. The incumbent is term limited, leading to a wide open race. Bing Wang has more.
Hsinchu is home to almost 500,000 people. It's also known as the industrial and economic hub of Taiwan. Recently, the city's former mayor, Lin Zijian of the Democratic Progressive Party, left his seat to run in the Taoyuan mayor elections, and the race to choose a successor is heating up. While there will be 6 candidates on the ballot, the Hsinchu election is likely to be a three-way contest. The frontrunner candidates are Seng Huihong of the DPP, Lin Genren of the Kuomintang or KMT, and Gao Hong'an of the newly created Taiwan People's Party or TPP. The latest polling shows Sen and Gao in a dead heat, with Ling trailing in third place.
不只是平时就学就业
Sen has focused her campaign on improving the city's infrastructure.
交通的部分，一就是一个断点，完整整个新竹外环道路；二就是2条轨道形成红绿双线新竹环线。那3的部分就是推动3座跨新竹县的桥梁。
Her main rival, Ling, is calling for benefits for young people and more e-bikes.
年轻人要公托100%，我们一定要设办零托3+1。未来我们可能会透过 e-bike， 老中青幼都可以用，都可以用的时候，新竹市点对点的之间的距离，10分钟就到了。
Whereas Gao has pledged to fix transportation issues with high-tech means.
透过我自己比较熟悉的 AI 的大数据的分析，我们去对于每一些路口，包含像是道路安全、交通事故比较容易发生的路口，作为后面我们在做道路的设计啊，是长期的部分，就是还是要做这个替代道路的开发。
The DPP hopes to retain their seat. The KMT is demanding change. These two parties usually dominate Taiwan politics, but TPP candidate Gao continues to poll highly. If she succeeds, this will make Hsinchu the second city to be led by a TPP member after the capital Taipei. Howard Zheng and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's military tracked over 40 Chinese warplanes flying in the Taiwan Strait this weekend. It's the highest number of Chinese military aircraft that have been reported in the area since September. This comes as China continues to increase its military presence around Taiwan's borders. Jaime Ocon has this update.
In numbers not seen for months, 46 Chinese warplanes flew close to Taiwan's airspace on Sunday, according to the country's Ministry of National Defense. Among the group, 21 of the aircraft were spotted in Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. This area is not Taiwan's airspace, but serves as a buffer zone between Taiwan and China. According to Taiwan's military, the Chinese aircraft included 14 fighter jets, 3 reconnaissance planes, 3 drones, and 1 fighter-bomber hybrid. 17 of those warplanes reportedly crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait, an unofficial boundary created in the 1950s. So far this year, more than 1,400 Chinese military aircraft have breached Taiwan's ADIZ. It's a stark increase from around 970 incursions that took place in 2021. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and has vowed to bring the country under its control by force if necessary. The presence of the warplanes is part of a wider effort by Beijing to continue growing political and military pressure against Taiwan. Patrick Chen and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
With China showing no signs of reducing its military activity around Taiwan, the country's military remains on high alert. On Monday, Taiwan's Air Force started its so-called Tianlong drills in the eastern county of Hualien. The drills involve a combination of F-16V fighter jets and Black Hawk helicopters, simulating joint operations with ground forces. The exercise was originally scheduled to run last week, but was postponed due to bad weather. The Tianlong drills are among the largest airborne military exercises in Taiwan. Taiwan is further easing COVID restrictions after reporting over 16,000 new COVID cases on the 7th, the lowest number in over 2 months. Those who test negative after 7 days in quarantine will be able to leave with no need to keep monitoring their condition. The country is also lifting the rule that people need 3 vaccine doses before they can attend big events, such as religious ceremonies. Temperature checks are being removed as well in most places. But Taiwan's railways will keep monitoring passengers' temperatures through to the end of the year. Police in Taoyuan have broken up an alleged criminal ring that lured job seekers into fake interviews only to abduct them and steal from their bank accounts. Investigators have so far made 22 arrests and located the bodies of 3 people. Now they're looking into whether more members of the criminal group may have escaped custody. John Van Trieste has the story.
For the 32 captives held in this Taoyuan apartment, it's the end of a nightmare. A criminal ring allegedly led by this man posted fake job ads offering high salaries. They would then kidnap those who showed up for an interview. Victims were tortured and forced to hand over their bank details. Many had large sums of money stolen. And Taoyuan wasn't the only place the criminal group operated. Last week, police freed 26 others from another apartment just outside Taipei. But for some, it was too late. As police arrested ring members over the weekend, they also began a search for the remains of 3 of the gang's victims. The remains of the final victim were found dumped in a suitcase in a forested area of Nantou. Police have arrested 22 alleged ring members so far, but questions remain about whether others may have escaped detection. Authorities say they are continuing their investigation. Patrick Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A legislator has revealed yet another broken artifact at Taiwan's National Palace Museum. This one was damaged in 2012. It comes just weeks after the museum admitted to breaking 3 other historic treasures. The damaged artifacts have caused a series of cover-up accusations by lawmakers from both the ruling Democratic Progressive Party and the main opposition Kuomintang. Leslie Liao has more.
A broken legacy. 3 priceless treasures brought over from China lie shattered. They were under the care of Taiwan's National Palace Museum, an institution that oversees one of the most important collections of Chinese artifacts in the world. The artifacts were brought over in the mid-20th century during the Chinese Civil War. Last month, opposition lawmakers from the Kuomintang, or KMT, exposed the museum's mishandling of the treasures. They also accused the museum director, a presidential appointee, of negligence and covering up the breakages.
事发的照片为什么消失？双龙小碗破碎的照片不是第一现场，第一现场照片是被隐匿。整个的行政调查为什么拖了3个月以上？
But on Sunday, a lawmaker from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party shot back. In a Facebook post, Lin Yijin revealed that another artifact was damaged in 2012, when the KMT was still in power. The item in question, a painting that depicts a bridge over China's Yellow River. While preparing it for display, museum workers realized that the artwork's case was too small. A section chief at the museum then ordered staff to cut the sides of the painting so it could fit. Records of this incident were classified and kept private.
当初却没有送考核会惩处，没有交给政风调查，更不用说对外公开。我严正要求，故宫要彻查过去所有的密件， 找出所有文物受到人为毁损的记录，看看是不是还有这种袒护私了、任意糟蹋文物的作为。
The National Palace Museum houses a massive historic legacy, but it seems that the museum's administrative history may be far from meeting the lofty standards of its collection. Alex Chen and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
US and Taiwan officials have marked the signing of 3 memoranda of understanding. The agreements are designed to expand cooperation projects between the two countries, such as international humanitarian assistance and economic development. The projects will take place mostly in Pacific nations and in Paraguay, one of Taiwan's diplomatic allies. This comes after the president of Paraguay said he would consider switching the country's diplomatic stance to one favoring China unless Taiwan invested $1 billion in Paraguay. At the event in Taipei on Monday, US and Taiwanese officials said the projects demonstrated the depth of the relationship between Taiwan and the states.
Whether dealing with the impact of the global COVID-19 pandemic or sharing its extensive experience in humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, Taiwan has shown time and again that it is willing and able to share its expertise and help those who are in need. We are proud to work with Taiwan on development cooperation. This MOU will enable our experts to work together on projects and programs to build capacity and bolster economic resilience around the world.
Taiwan's foreign ministry, along with Taiwan's Indian community, hosted Diwali, or the Festival of Lights, one of India's most important festivals. This event highlighted the strengthening ties between India and Taiwan. Bing Wang was there.
It's one of India's biggest festivals. Diwali is celebrated by millions around the world, and even here in Taiwan. India doesn't have formal diplomatic ties with Taipei, but in recent years, there has been a substantial increase of economic activity between the two sides.
Bilateral trade last year reached a record high of $7.7 billion, which was 64% higher than in 2020.
With days of festivities continuing even after Diwali, here in Taiwan, Indians have come together to celebrate the Festival of Light with food, song, and dance.
I think this is my second home. You know, for the girls, they will have one home before they marry. After that, they have a second home. So like me, India is my first home, my parental home, and this is my matrimonial home. So I really enjoy in Taiwan.
There are around 6,000 Indians living in Taiwan. About half are students, others range from business people, scholars, and other professionals.
This is the Festival of Lights. Indians and Taiwanese coming together to illuminate the growing friendship between the two countries.
Symbolic of the warm relations between the two sides, the evening's performances included a special segment based on Indian mythology representing the building of bridges between nations.
There are now more Taiwanese language, 华语教育中心, Chinese language education centers, right? I believe now the number is 22.
Indian and Chinese relations have deteriorated in recent years over border disputes and competition over influence in the region. It's seen as a factor in Indian people's growing affection for Taiwan, and it seems those feelings are heartily reciprocated.
I love India.
With China attempting to claim over Taiwan, India and Taiwan's relations have traditionally been low-key. But if this event is anything to go by, that could be changing. The evening capped off with a chant of the longevity of Taiwan and India's friendship. Ricky and Bing Wang in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Monday marks the beginning of winter, according to the traditional lunar calendar. It's a time when people in Taiwan often eat special cuisines that are supposed to prepare the body for winter, whatever the weather. Yu Jing Huang has more.
Preparing a winter treat, this chef is making ginger duck, a favorite dish in Taiwan, and today business is booming. It's Li Dong, the traditional beginning of winter, a time when people eat warming foods.
我们业绩差不多有成长到5成吧，1年的劳力都把它
Lidong marks one of the 24 solar terms in the traditional lunar calendar. This cultural heritage is shared across Asia, but while temperatures in China, where the tradition originated, may regularly dip below zero, the weather in Taiwan is decidedly warmer. The temperature on Monday ranged between 21 and 30 degrees Celsius countrywide, and that's likely to last until next week.
下周一、下周二之后，可能有东北季风在逐渐影响，低温可能还会再下降一些，有可能来到18、19，甚至局部地区有可能来到17度左右。
Come rain or shine, hot or cold, the traditions associated with festivals like Lidong live on. But with climate change leading to warmer weather, people in Taiwan can expect more sun-filled starts to the lunar winter going forward. Andy Xie and Eugene Huang for TaiwanPlus.
Now let's take a look at some international headlines. Almost 40 warships from Japan and its allies have taken part in a large naval parade in the Sea of Tokyo. The so-called International Fleet Review took place on Sunday and was Japan's first in 7 years. It comes just days after missile tests by North Korea set off Japan's early warning system and sent people running for shelter. Stash Butler has the story.
Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida looks on as warships and planes from the US, South Korea and other friendly nations join the Japanese Navy on parade. It's a show of unity between regional allies as tensions on the Korean peninsula and in the seas near Japan continue to skyrocket. In recent days, North and South Korea have fired dozens of missiles into the waters near both Japan and Korea. One of those missiles set off evacuation alarms in northern Japan. This comes after disputes between the Korean nations over Pyongyang's nuclear tests and Seoul's joint military drills with the United States. On Sunday, Japan's Prime Minister condemned North Korea's missile launches and its suspected test of an intercontinental ballistic missile.
北朝鮮は今年に入り、かつてない高い頻度で新型の ICBM 級を含む弾道ミサイルの発射を繰り返しており、我が国上空を通過させる形での発射も強行しました。北朝鮮による核・ミサイル開発は断じて容認できません。
The tensions appear to have brought Japan and South Korea closer together. Seoul sent ships to take part in Sunday's review, despite long-running disagreements over the legacy of Japan's former colonial rule in Korea. Another alliance may also be growing stronger. Reports suggest Japan will soon sign a major defense pact with the United Kingdom. Speaking at the Fleet Review, the US ambassador to Japan stressed the close friendship between America's allies and drew a line between the US and China.
One of the things that I would say here is what upsets China the most is we have allies, we have friends. They're expansive and extensive, and they do not.
Sunday's joint parade appeared to send a message that Japan is willing to strengthen its existing alliances and form new ones if this can help bring an end to military escalation near its waters. Ricky and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
South Korea's president has apologized for the deadly Halloween crush in Seoul that killed 156 people. Yoon Suk-yeol offered the apology during a meeting to review safety rules following the tragedy in the popular Itaewon nightlife district on October 29th. An investigation is underway into authorities' responses to the accident. He pledged to hold to account any officials found to have been responsible for the sloppy response. He also vowed to reform the police and safety management systems. The former Prime Minister of Pakistan has been discharged from hospital after being shot at a protest march days earlier. Star cricketer turned politician Imran Khan says his march on the capital, Islamabad, will resume on Tuesday. Khan and his supporters have been staging nationwide protests to press for early elections and the resignation of current Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Khan was leading a rally in Wazirabad on November 3rd when he was shot in the leg. One of his supporters was also killed by the gunman, who was later apprehended by police.
हमने फैसला किया है कि हमारी जो मार्च है अब वो शुरू होगी। मंगल से वही वजीराबाद जिधर मुझे ये गोलियां लगी थी और हमारे 11 और लोगों को गोलियां लगी थी और जिधर मौजम शहीद हुआ था, उधर से हमारी मार्च शुरू होगी। मैं हर रोज मार्च से खिताब करूंगा यहाँ से।
19 people have died in a plane crash in Tanzania. The plane was attempting to land at Bukoba Airport next to Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake. The aircraft was carrying 43 people. Several of the survivors are currently in hospital. It is not yet clear what caused the crash. Early reports indicate that weather may have been a factor, as the plane was attempting to land during heavy rainfall. Rescue workers have now managed to lift the plane out of the water. The CEO of Precision Air, the company operating the flight, spoke to the public following the crash.
Kwa kuupdate tu tumefungua kituo chetu kwa ajili ya wale abiria ambao watakuwa wameathirika, kwa sababu tunaendelea kufuatilia uokoaji, na kituo chetu kwa ajili ya tunaita family assistance kwa hapa Dar es Salaam ili kupata habari mbalimbali kiko katika hoteli ya Blue Sapphire pale Vingunguti. Kwa hiyo kama kuna familia yoyote ambao wanataka kupata update yoyote, wakifika pale watapewa hizo taarifa.
Tech giant Apple says it's expecting delays in shipments of iPhone 14 smartphones from its factory in the Chinese city of Zhengzhou due to COVID-19 restrictions. In a press release, Apple said that its biggest facility in China is currently operating at, quote, significantly reduced capacity. It comes after the plant in central China saw dozens of workers flee a lockdown after multiple cases of COVID were confirmed among employees. The facility employs almost 200,000 people. Shipments of the latest iPhone could be reduced by almost 30% due to the restrictions. For many Indigenous people in Taiwan, hunting is a way of life. But traditional hunting grounds are often located in protected areas, and the practice is severely restricted by the country's environmental laws. Now authorities are reaching out to Indigenous communities to find ways to protect both their culture and Taiwan's wildlife. Rick Lau reports.
Here in the mountains of eastern Taiwan, home to the Taiya people, Indigenous community leaders and hunters are meeting with the Forestry Bureau. They're working on a trial project to give Indigenous communities greater autonomy to hunt in line with their traditional practices.
因为我们原住民这个本来我们从小对这个山林跟野生动物的这个生活都是我们日常生活里面的一部分。那 因为国民政府来到台湾以后，就出现了这么多的部门，包括什么国家公园啊、什么林务局啦，又什么动保处，那把我们原住民原本的基本生活都已经被控制了。
Like many Indigenous communities in Taiwan, hunting is a way of life for the Taiya people. But under Taiwan's environmental laws, the activity is strictly controlled. People can only hunt on certain days and need to apply for permission. This often puts Indigenous communities at loggerheads with authorities.
因为现在政府当然了，他们有政府的那一些的严厉的想法，但是我们身在高山的原住民，那必须也要符合啦，不能完全把我们打压到很那个不行了。所以我们现在跟林务局跟那些的话，好好的去沟通哦。 不能完全把它都收起来就不行了。那我们以后的那小孩子都没有办法，传承我们的那个未来了。这样。
This is part of a trial project launched by the Forestry Bureau that will allow Indigenous communities to manage their own hunting practices in an environmentally sustainable way.
我们是希望说，透过这样子的一个计划的推动，能够让原住民他们的狩猎的文化、他们的传统文化，可以让他能够找回来。然后也最终是希望说，其实原住民他们在他们自己的部落里面，能够去管理他们的自己的猎场。
It's seen as a step forward in reclaiming Indigenous people's hunting rights. In 2019. This community lost an 8-year court battle challenging the restrictions. The country's 600,000 Indigenous people are often marginalised and face discrimination, including lower wages, higher unemployment and poorer living standards. For centuries, Taiwan's indigenous population have been treated like second-class citizens in their own home, and the right to hunt is a continued source of tension between communities and authorities. It's hoped that meetings like this are an important first step to bridging that impasse. Damon Lin and Rick Lowett in Yilan County for TaiwanPlus.
Chinese panda experts who visited Taiwan to inspect an unwell panda at Taipei Zoo have said they will continue to search for treatments for the animal. Giant panda Tuan was diagnosed with a brain lesion in September after suffering seizures. The Chinese experts arrived in Taiwan last week. They returned to China's Sichuan province on Monday. The specialists agreed the zoo should keep the panda in palliative care. Taipei Zoo officials previously said they would not operate on Tuan because of the lesion's position. Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of the 2022 Siraya Go Crack Car in Tainan, southern Taiwan. I'm Yin Khvat. Take care and see you next time.